believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. I know that my Redeemer live, and that he shall stand the latter day upon the earth. And I shall see God, who I shall see for myself. My eyes shall behold, and not another. We have brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. The Lord give it, and the Lord take it. Blessed be the name of our God. Let me use the opportunity to welcome everyone to this homegoing service for our dear and beloved sister, Petrona Lynch. And we want to just give God thanks that this afternoon we are not grieving like other grieve, but we are celebrating the fact that she has run her leg and she has finished her course, and above all, she has kept the faith. This afternoon we have with us here our ministers. Our Minister Sinclair will be deputizing with the program. I have also Minister McNaughton with us, Minister Dixon with us. We have our General Secretary, Sister Tanya Grant, and we also have family member, Brother Nicholas. Over here we have the choir and some of the brethren and the praise team. And it is indeed a combined choir, a group that some of our elders who really wanted to be a part of this funeral service, who have chosen to be in the choir for this service to celebrate the life of this wonderful and stalwart who have passed on before us. At this time we're going to turn to our program. While you're turning to your program, let me use this opportunity to make a public apology for my wife, Dr. Jermaine. Unfortunately, she will not be able to be here this afternoon because of circumstances which is beyond her control. She is indeed really down knowing that she can't be here for Mother Mars. But she's watching wherever she is, and she is, I'm sure she's online watching. The funeral service is being online. I want to greet all those who are online, and both are online. One is on Calvary Temple page, United Pentecostal Church of Jamaica. So if you would like to tell someone that they can log in on the Calvary Temple page and they will see the funeral service. Brother Danes to the whole rugged cross as we sing together. Brother Dane, use this one. Hallelujah.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for a world of lost were slain. So I cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross for my life, Lord, and exchange it someday for a crown. Oh, that old rugged cross, so despised by the world, has a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left his glory above to bear it to dark Calvary. So I cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. In the old rugged cross, stained with blood so divine, a wondrous beauty I see. For 'twas on that old cross Jesus suffered and died to pardon and sanctify me. And so I cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross for my life, Lord, and exchange it someday for a crown, and exchange it someday for a crown.
I will cling to the whole rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. This afternoon, this morning, we're reflecting on someone who would have held on to that old rugged cross someone who would have exchanged it for a crown. We thank the Lord this morning. We are not here to mourn as others mourn, but we are here to celebrate. This is a Thanksgiving service for someone who would have lived a good life, someone who would have held on to the whole rugged cross and exchanged it someday for a crown. At this time, I want to invite Minister Norton to come, and he will be doing the opening prayer.
Bless the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. God is good. God is good. In every way, God is good. No matter your situation that you're in, God is still God. God is good. Look at Sister Mary, she's always smiling. Thank you, Jesus. A blessed woman of God, one that lived a life. Now pray, God, that one day we all meet him in the throne of God, standing before the Almighty God. I love a woman that really loved God, dedicated all her life to the Almighty God. God bless her. Thank you, Jesus. Bless the family. I bless everyone that are here today. God bless you. Let us pray. Our God and our Father, one who is righteous, one who is just, a God who is holy. In all your ways, O God, you are true. Everything, God, that upon this earth created by thee. Without you, O God, there is nothing that created. Father, we thank you, O God, for one more time in this place. Another day, O God, where we come, O God, not to mourn, O God, but we come, Heavenly Father, to celebrate the life of our beloved sister, Sister Morris. Father, we pray, God, that this service continue to go on. God, we pray for your presence. We pray, God Almighty, that everything that's done here may done to the glory and to the honor of your name. I pray, God Almighty, that even in this service, oh God, someone may be saved, someone may be healed, and someone may be delivered. I pray, God, that you may bless this service, bless the speaker, bless the singer, bless the moderator, oh God. I pray, God, and I ask you, God, to have your own way in this place. Take control, Heavenly Father, and let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In Jesus' name we pray. Hallelujah. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Thank you very much, Minister Norton. You may be seated. Just a little bit of information here. Just want to encourage us to put our cell phones on silence. And secondly, we'll be getting into the program. Those who are down in the auditorium, I want to ask you to use this podium that is closer to you. Others who are on the rostrum here, you will use this podium as you participate in today's activities. So just a reminder, put the cell phones on silence. We really want to get through this program. Bless the Lord Jesus. And those who are down in the auditorium, please use the podium that is closer to you. If you're on the rostrum, you'll use this podium. Bless the Lord Jesus. So as we get into our program, we want to move on to the first lesson. The first lesson will be done by Khalil Elliott, great-granddaughter, great-grandchild, great-grandson. Sorry about that. Please.
Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to all gathered here today. Good afternoon to all gathered here today. I am Khalil Elliott, and I have the solemn honor of standing before you as the great-grandson of the late Mrs. Petrona Morris, a woman whose life was a testament to quiet strength, enduring love, and timeless grace. It is with deep reverence that I share with you the first scripture reading, a passage of sacred wisdom that reminds us that life, in all its seasons, unfolds under the perfect timing of God. The reading is taken from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 to 11. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. Here endeth a portion of God's holy word. We honor it by saying, thanks be to God.
Thank you, Khalil. We're going to move on to a musical selection by our own brother Brian Taylor, The Midnight Cry. This will be followed by the second lesson, 1 Corinthians 15, 50 to 58, which will be done by Nikisha Mattis, grandchild.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise God. I hear the sound of a mighty rushing wind, and it's closer now than it's ever been. I can almost hear the trumpet as Gabriel sounds the call at the midnight cry. We'll be going home. I look around me, I see prophecies fulfilling, signs of the time. They're appearing everywhere. I can almost hear the Father. He said, son, go get my children at the midnight cry. The bride of Christ will rise when Jesus steps out from the cloud to call his children. The dead in Christ shall rise. midnight cry, we'll be going home. I look around me, I see prophecies fulfilling, signs of the time. They're appearing everywhere. I can almost hear the Father said, son, go get my children. At the midnight cry, we'll be going home. At the midnight cry, the bride of Christ will rise.
Nikisha Mattis.
Pleasant morning, everyone. The second lesson is taken from 2 Corinthians 15, reading from verse 15 to 58. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall we brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to God, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. 58 and last. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Here endeth a portion of our Holy Scripture. Thanks be to God.
Bless the Lord. Can we just stand to our feet at this time? You know, Mother Morris was really alive. The person, there's this song, By and By, when that morning come. Could we just sing that song before we get into the first set of tributes? By and By, when that morning comes.
By and by, when the morning comes, when all the saints of God are gathered home, we will tell the story how we overcome. We will understand it better by and by. Oh, by and by, oh, yes, when the morning comes, when all
understand it better by and by. We'll understand it better by and by. I realized that some persons weren't singing and some persons weren't dancing, but it's totally in order to sing, to dance, and to be happy. This woman of God, she lived a good life. She lived a good life. And today, it's about rejoicing. It's about celebrating somebody who would have lived a life, celebrated, a life committed to Almighty God. Can we bless the Lord? Bless the Lord Jesus. So we are going to move into our first set of tributes, and we'll be having Tabernacle Church Choir. This will be followed by Florette Ingram, a family friend. Then we'll have the St. Anne's Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church. So we'll go in that order. Tabernacle Church, Florette Ingram, and this will be followed by St. Anne's Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Good morning, everyone. Can we just bless the name of Jesus? Lift up holy hands and worship the King. Our God is good, and all the time. Praise God. Sister Buddy was a wonderful woman of God. I remember as a little girl walking by and going up to church, and she would always call to me and my sisters and smile. She was always smiling, and it's good to know that she knew the Lord. Amen. And I know the family may be grieving at this time. It's natural to grieve, and the blessed Holy Spirit will comfort you as you go through this process. It might not be easy, but God is good, and he'll carry you through. Amen. So condolences on behalf of the Liberty Hill Tabernacle to you and the entire church family. Amen. Praise God. My heart can sing as I pause to remember a heartache here is but a stepping stone, a long life's way that winding always upward. This troubled world is not my final home. But until then, my heart will go on singing. Until then, with joy I'll carry on. Until the day my eyes beyond the city. Until that day God calls me home. The things of earth will dim and lose their value if I recall they're borrowed for a while, and things on earth that cause my heart to tremble, if I remember, they'll only bring a smile. But until then, my heart will go on singing. But until then, with joy I'll carry on. Until the day my of misery and strife. The soul of man is like a waiting eagle. When it's released, it's destined for the sky. But until then, my heart will go on singing. But until then, with joy I'll carry on. Until the day mine eyes beyond the city. Until the day that calls me up. But until then, my heart will go on singing. But until then, with joy I carry on. Until the day mine eyes beyond the city. Until that day that calls me
Florette Ingram. Florette Ingram. All right, we'll move on to St. Anne's Bay, Seventh-day Adventist Church at this time. Is St. Anne's Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church here today? All right. So we'll continue. We'll move on to Eva Murdoch and Associates, family friend. And this will be followed by Paul Mackenzie. Eva Murdoch? No? Okay. Do we have, is Mr. Paul Mackenzie here? Okay.
Praise the Lord. I just want to say a few words before I do my rendition. We call her B because she's buddy. And most people don't know her by the name Petrona. But I tell you, we share a wonderful relationship. I tell you, I remember when I did surgery in the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And Buddy would come every morning and cook my brat soup because that time I couldn't eat anything hard. And I tell her she did it with a pleasure. And from her youth, I've grown to respect her. And we are grieving. But we're not grieving like those who do not have a home. Because I am sure, I'm going to meet my cousin one of these days. Praise God. In the dark of the midnight, as I hid my face, while the storms on about and there is no hiding place. May the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry, keep me safe till the storm passes by. Oh, till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more. Oh, the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thine hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Many times Satan whispered, there's no need to try, for there's no end to our sorrows. There's no hope by and by. But I know thou art with me, and tomorrow I'll rise where the storms never darken the sky. Oh, till the storm passes over and the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thine hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Oh, till the storm passes over and the thunder sounds true, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand, oh, in the hollow of thine hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Oh yes, till the storm passes over and the thunder rolls through. The clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand, oh yeah, in the hollow of thine hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Keep me safe till the storm passes by.
Keep me safe. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Only the Lord Jesus can keep us safe. Mr. Mackenzie, thank you for that beautiful rendition. Today, I would really want anybody to be here and to miss the opportunity to give your tribute. So again, I'm asking, is Florette Ingram here? Is Eva Murdoch here? If not, we'll just continue. So we're moving to the second segment of tributes, and we'll have first Sister Yvonne Rainford, read by Candice Williams. This will be followed by our own mission department. And this will be done by Sister Chang, Missionary Chang.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today to honor and celebrate the life of our beloved grandmother and sister. Before I read the tribute written by my dear aunt, I just want to say how much it means to me to have you all here in sharing this moment of love and remembrance. So, this is on behalf of Auntie Yvonne. My sister, she was beautifully made and so precious to me when I was growing up until the end. She was one of 8 siblings, her being the 7th and myself being the last. We called her Buddy. She and I were the last sisters at home together, whilst the older ones were in Kingston or abroad. I could always rely on Buddy through good and bad times. Being the youngest, the others will call me spoiled. We never argued, although we did disagree, and on some things from time to time, but we didn't hold any grudges. Buddy was someone you could confide in. As our mother would say, if someone tells you something in confidence, it's between you and them. She was loving, caring, nurturing, and loved singing gospel songs, reading the Bible, and going to church.
Buddy was always on hand to help and to do the very best she could, apart from when she was growing up. She didn't like it when it was her turn to clean the house, but when I cleaned it, she would be the first to go inside, admiring it. My cousins and I would say she thinks she's the queen. I didn't mind too much, as she would help me with the schoolwork, especially my maths homework. I treasure those memories fondly. I look back and think it must have been devastating when we all left and she was home in country without us. I cannot imagine what it must have been like for her. Despite everything, Buddy never lost her faith in Christ. She was hardworking and always wanted to do the best for her children and family. Towards the end, the Lord could see that she could do no more, so called her home to rest in eternal peace. May your loving memories live in our hearts forever. Rest in peace, my beautiful sis. Thank you.
Let's praise the Lord. Let's praise the Lord. Praise God. Tribute to a faithful servant of God, Missionary Petrona Morris. Missionary and beloved member of Calvary Temple United Pentecostal Church. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. Today, we have gathered arts and memories to honor the life and legacy of a true servant of God. Missionary Petrona Morris, a missionary a teacher, and a soul winner, Missionary Morris dedicated her life wholly to the ministry, living as a living epistle of Christ's love. From the moment she answered the call in 1995 to serve, she carried the gospel far and wide, reaching the hearts, spreading not only the word, but the warmth of her unwavering faith. At Calvary Temple United Church, she was not just a missionary, she was a cornerstone of spiritual strength. Known for her humility, tireless work in the ministry alongside Pastor Carter, Elder Lewis, who preceded her, and Sister Gloria Reed, as they worked tirelessly answering the call of God. Missionary Mary served with a rare blend of boldness and tenderness. Whether she was ministering in her community or standing behind the pulpit in the sanctuary, her passion for souls was unrelenting. She had a heart for the forgotten, often encouraging and bringing hope of Jesus Christ. At Calvary Temple, she wore many hats: Sunday school teacher, mission board member, mentor to the young people, and counselor to the wavering. She often arrived early, especially when she could come to night service, singing hymns and song until service started, always ready with a helping hand or a listening ear. Her faith wasn't confined to the walls of the church. It flowed through her action. She lived with what she preached: sacrifice, obedience, and love without condition. Her legacy not just measured in plaques or recognition, but in the lives she touched. Generations of believers were inspired by her example. Junior missionary like me look up to her as a model of godly purpose, strong, wise, and fully surrendered to Christ. Her words about the call of God on her life and work for him often left us in tears, soaked in spiritual insight, full of testimony and wonder at what God was doing through her. Even in ill health, she continued to minister through her words and her prayers, never letting her physical limitation silence the calling she carried to her last breath. As we say goodbye to Missionary Morris in body, we know her spirit has only begun a greater ministry in glory. She has stepped into her eternal reward, hearing the words she longed to hear all her life: "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." Though we grieve deeply, we do not grieve without hope. Her life was a seed sown in obedience, and the harvest will continue long after her passing. Let us honor her, not only with words, but by carrying the torch she lit, serving with humility, loving with abundance, and living fully for Christ. Rest well, dear missionary. Your labor was not in vain. Thank you.
Thank you, Missionary Chang. Miss Buddy, Missionary Morris, our greatest desire, if she were here today, our greatest desire would be to see the unsaved saved. Bless God, she really had a passion for souls. And could it be that her death, her funeral today, is intended, bless the Lord, for souls to be saved? As we continue with our tributes, we'll have tributes coming from the Women's Fellowship Department, and this will be followed by selection of favorites, praise team, and band. So selection of favorites, and this will be done by the praise team and the band.
Let's bless the Lord, everybody. Let's bless the Lord another time. Tribute for Missionary Petrona Lynch from the Women's Fellowship Department. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Today we stand in remembrance as we honor the life of an extraordinary woman of God. Missionary Morris, a pillar of faith, a relentless laborer in the harvest field, and a radiant light within the walls of Calvary Temple United Pentecostal Church. She was not just known, she was deeply felt. Missionary Morris didn't just attend church, she embodied the Acts Church. Her legacy is written not only in the archives of the mission's work, but also in the quiet moments of prayer. The power of her praise and the countless lives she touched throughout unwavering love and godly conviction. Sister Petrona's passion for the kingdom was evident in everything she did. She was a woman deeply rooted in worship and often lost in the presence of God long before the first note of music was struck. Her favorite song, Deeper, was not only her anthem, it was her testimony. She didn't want a shallow experience with Christ. She longed for deep waters, the refining fire, the secret place where true transformation and anointing abide. When she sung our worship, heaven leaned in. And when the congregation lifted the soul-stirring hymn, when I've gone the last mile of the way, her face would glow with sacred longing, not for escape from this world, but for the union with the one she served so faithfully. Among our ministries, one of our deepest commitments were to the Women's Fellowship Department of Calvary Temple. Missionary Morris was not only a supporter, she was a pillar. Over the years, she served under various department leaders, never seeking position, but always offering presence. Her quiet strength and willing spirit made her a trusted, confident, and reliable helper to those in leadership. Whether organizing events, mentoring young women, offering counsel, or simply being the first to show up and the last to leave, Sister Morris' dedication helped shape the soul of the department. She never hesitated to roll up her sleeve to assist, uplift, or encourage, always championing the vision of others while quietly leaving her spiritual fingerprints several initiatives. She was always early for church, not once out of habit, but always out of honor. She believed God deserved our first and our best. She believed God deserved our first and our best time, energy, and praise. She would walk through the sanctuary before the service began, praying over the seat, speaking peace into the atmosphere, and preparing a space for God to move. Her smile, warm, gentle, and ever-present, welcomed the weary, the broken, and the unsure. She had a divine gift for engagement, a soft word A soft word from her could lift every burden. A hug from her felt like a blessing, and her very presence reminded us that we were seen, valued, and loved not just by her, but by the God she so graciously reflects. Though our physical tasks may not be finished, she leaves behind many unfinished assignments. Not because she fell short, but because the baton must now pass to us. Missionary Morris planted seeds in the places we cannot see, fields of faith, a compassion and a sacrificial service. She lived not for applause or accolades, but for the impact, and the impact she made is eternal. Her past is filled with memories of laughter, teaching, intercessions, and quiet acts of service that will echo for generation. She built bridges to Christ in villages, homes, and every heart that encounter her ministry. And now the final mile has been walked. The race has been run with grace and grit. We believe she has been received by the holy audience in heaven, clothed in garment of righteousness, and welcomed with the words, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." Missionary Morris did not live an ordinary life. She lived a spectacular, surrendering one. And in doing so, she taught us how to live, how to love, and most of all, how to worship without holding back. We will miss her face, her laughter, her prayers, and her radiant faith. But we will honor her legacy by going deeper. Deeper in worship, deeper in service, deeper in love for others. Rest now, Missionary Morris. You have gone the last mile of the way, and your crown awaits. We'll carry on the work until the glorious day we worship together again. As 2 Timothy stated, and I quote, 2 Timothy 4, verse 7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." Yes, Sister Morris, you finished well. Thank you, Lord, for the life of your servant, Petrona Morris. May she rest in eternal peace. Amen. God bless.
Praise God. Come on, give God thanks for her. Wonderful. Praise God. I'm going to ask the parents who are in charge of these children to keep them out the aisles, please. We're going to ask you to keep the kids, the children out the aisles, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise God. No, my grandmother was a lovely, lovely lady, and she taught me many of the songs that I know in church. And so I'm gonna do a few of those songs this morning. Now, she would take us through the entire service from home. When we were home, we would kneel down beside the couch, and she would start off by saying, "In the book of God so precious, we are told of Pentecost, how the blessed Lord disciples tarried for the Holy Ghost. Pentecostal fire fell on them, burning up the sin and dross, filling them with power for service, making them a mighty host. Pentecostal fire is falling, praise the Lord, it fell on me. Pentecostal fire is falling, brother, let it fall on me. Pentecostal fire is falling, praise the Lord, it fell on me. Pentecostal fire is falling, brother, let it fall on me. Isn't God good, 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 for giving us so many blessings undeserving? That's what we are. And I want to thank an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Grounded to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. Sends a light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. There is a call come ringing over restless wave. Send the light, send the light. There are souls to rescue, but there are souls to save. Send the light, oh, send the light, send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. Praise the Lord, everybody. Now, this is a song that my brother loves. My twin brother Neil loves this song, and I believe it's because my grandmother sang this song so often. God is good. God is good. God is good to me. How could I let him down? How could I let him down? How could I let him down? He's so good to me. Oh, God is good. God is good. God is good to me. How could I let him down? How could I let him down? How could I let him down? He's so good to me.
God is good. Oh,
God is good. God is good. God is good to me. How could I let him down? How could I let him down? How could I let him down?
He's so good to me. He picks me up. He picks me up. He turns me around. He turns me around. He plants my feet on higher ground. How could I let him down? How could I let him down? He's so good to me. He picks me up. He turns me around. He turns me around. He plants my feet on higher ground. say it's leaving to a land where we never die. And the pilot will be my Jesus to a mansion way up in the sky. So don't be grieving because I'm leaving. Don't you cry when I say goodbye. There'll be no weeping. Where I'm going to a mansion way up in the sky. Don't be grieving because I'm leaving. Don't you cry when I say goodbye. There'll be no weeping. Where I'm going to a mansion way up in the sky. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Can we bless the Lord?
Hallelujah.
Can we wave our hands and bless the Lord? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just listening to those songs, it really reminded me that this was a woman of substance, a woman of class, a woman of great depth, a woman who knew the Lord. Bless the Lord Jesus. We're going to continue with our tribute. At this time, we'll have a tribute from Calvary Temple UPC, this church, and it's a general tribute. It will be done by our General Secretary, Sister Grant. This will be followed by the grandchildren and great-grandchildren doing their tribute, and then we'll have children and siblings. And that will be followed by the Sunday school department. So we'll have a tribute from Calvary Temple UPC. This will be done by the General Secretary, and this will be followed by the grandchildren and great-grandchildren doing their tribute, and that will be followed by children and siblings.
Bless the Lord, everybody. Hallelujah. Today we want to, on behalf of the entire assembly of Calvary Temple, to express our condolences to the family of Missionary Morris. May you find peace and comfort knowing that she served the Lord, she gave of her best, and now she's resting in the Lord. Hallelujah. Tribute for the late Sister Petrona Morris. Today, we honor the exemplary life of Missionary Petrona Morris, who was a long-standing and devoted member of Calvary Temple United Pentecostal Church. She was one of the original 28 members when Pastor and Minister Germain were first sent to oversee the assembly. Sister Morris was a friendly and sociable person. She was always quick to initiate a conversation with others in an effort to make them feel welcome, and believed in outreach, winning the lost at any cost. She was a lady who carried herself well, both in her appearance and conduct. She understood what it was to dwell with her brethren in unity, and so was not someone who carried grudges. She treated everyone with utmost respect and was never known to be in conflict with anyone. Sister Morris was an ardent Christian and a great testament of the faith. She loved the word and was enthusiastic about attending church. She would always be in attendance at church services and activities and would always be early. Needless to say, Sister Morris lived as a ready Christian. She was involved in all aspects of the church, being quite instrumental in the missions, women's fellowship, and Sunday school departments. One of her favorite songs, An Unfinished Task, is a firm reminder of her dedication. She is remembered by the young people as someone who would always encourage them to treasure their salvation. Pastor Germain remembers her for her dedication to the things of God and her unwavering faith. As a woman of prayer, Sister Morris's intercessions touched the lives of many. Her kindness, compassion, and generosity reflected the love of God. It was always her desire to see her family saved, especially her children and grandchildren. And although that desire was not fully realized without her passing, that burden now passes on to those of her family who have already surrendered their lives to the Lord. We celebrate the life, legacy, and ministry of this stalwart woman of God, acknowledging the inspiration we have received for future generations. May her soul rest in peace. God bless you.
Grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a poem to my grand aunt. Our beloved aunt, your gentle spirit was taken to the skies, and though your absence is felt by all of us, I find peace in remembering that your journey is just beginning, in the place where none of us have gone before. Family and friends, let's not weep and mourn. Instead, let us celebrate the many wonderful facets of her life. This earth is just one part of that journey. Think of how she must be wishing we could understand, and our sadness slowly fades away. I fondly remember my visit from Kingston, and without a doubt, the second place I would go was Auntie. I would tease her by saying, "Auntie Buddy, walk the money, bring it home." I also jokingly told her I would want my butt to be as big as her when I get older, and see, I got it. Think I got too much. And she would just laugh and say, "Little girl, you think me and your size?" Auntie Buddy had such a strong faith and was always in church. I was surprised to learn she had been married once. I remember my grandmother confronted the man who mistreated her sister, and I admire her. Funny enough, I always thought Auntie Buddy never had a love interest since I have seen or heard or mentioned any special person in her life. She was private, and her priority were her children, grandchildren, and in the end, her great-grands, and of course, her host of families and relatives. Auntie Buddy was truly one of a kind, so loving and kind-hearted. Whenever there was any disagreement, I never heard her raise her voice. Let's cherish every special moment we share with her. Though we can't see her now, she lives in our hearts, in hearts of everyone she touched. If you listen closely, you might just feel her presence. May the rain gently fall upon the fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you close in his hands. I bid farewell, adieu, my aunt. We love you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I could cry that you're gone or be filled with joy that you lived. My heart could be broken. My heart could be broken because I can't see you again.
Or I could choose to fill it with the love, life lessons, and memories we shared. You are the epitome of a praying mother, and great-grandmother. Your thunderous cries would pierce through the walls from your room to mine in the wee hours of the morning. The praise and worship was my alarm clock. The heartfelt prayers that you prayed during those hours for all your children, great and great-grand, as you would try to attempt calling each of us name to the Lord, were nothing short of a selfless act. You prayed for us more than you prayed for yourself. My grandmother's prayers were unwavering and fervent and has sustained me throughout my life. I felt the grace of her prayers when I needed it the most. As a child, my cousins and I would often play church.
As a child, my cousins and I would often play church. She would sit and watch, and most times join in, teaching us songs from the hymnal, how to pray, and how to worship. I would even act out the members of this church, as her hysterical laugh would bring tears to her eyes, followed by a loud clap of her hands. Then she would say, "You're not easy in a pitney. Why you not go to an actress?" We took joy in mimicking her on Saturdays while we did our chores. We would mimic the way she worshiped, pointing both hands in the air. This was her signature praise, everybody. Pointing both hands in the air. Sorry. Cry and even speak in the unknown tongue. I mean, we would do this religiously every Saturday while she was away at the market toiling. All fun and jokes aside, if the chores were not done when she returned home. We would even make fun of the way she would say, "I will lick you," which was her favorite thing to say, but never really did. Not to mention how she would say, "Jesus," in a very high-pitched voice right after. Though I know no one is perfect but the Lord Jesus Christ, in my eyes, she was perfect. When my cousins and I, as kids, would sneak out of the yard to go steal mangoes from Mr. Eddie's mango trees, we would ask her if she wanted any of the mangoes, and her response in a very stern voice would always be, "Me no want no teeth in mango." We would try forcing her to take it, but she wouldn't. Talk about woman of her words. She stood 10 toes down. She was the shield from my whoopings from mommy. I would curl up behind her in her bed, under her bed, or even between her legs. "Sharon, why you not leave the pitney alone?" she would yell, followed again by a stern, "Jesus." I've never met another person who has called on the name of Jesus so much, but it was never in vain. I thank God for her life and her prayers. Her influence lives on in the faith she nurtured in me, that of which I am proudly passing down to my children. In fond remembrance of one who bestowed matchless tenacity and a fostering aura, stamping an enduring crest upon us, your sweet memories, which are many, is my keepsake, Mama, a treasure I will never part with. You are many blessings to me. You are kindness, thoughtfulness, and love, a precious soul gifted to us from God for an appointed time. Now that Now that time has come to an halt, you are now resting in the arms of our loving Savior, the one who sent you. Parting words to a gentle soul, ascend in the calm repose of what lies yonder. May your spirit be embraced by peace. Love you, Mama, in life and in death.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is my little piece to my grandmother. Today we honor and remember the life of a woman whose presence was a blessing, whose legacy will live on in our heart forever. Petrona Lynch. She was more than a grandmother, a great-grandmother. She was a pillar of strength, wisdom, and unconditional love. With heart as vast as the ocean and spirit unshakable as the mountain, Grandma Petrona carries her family through life's storm with grace and determination. Her hand told the story of hard work and tender care, hands that cook our meals, wipe our tears, and held us close when we needed comfort. Her voice, always calm and reassuring, spoke words that ease and encourage. She was a quiet force that shapes generation, teaching us examples how to live with integrity, kindness, and faith. Whenever it was her warm laugh, timeless wisdom, or gentle way, she makes everyone feel seen and loved. Grandma Petrona left an impact on all our lives that will never fade. She taught us the value of family, the power of prayer, the importance of staying humble and true to who we are. Though our earthly journey has ended, our spirit lives on in our tradition, in our stories we share, in the way we care for one another. Heaven has gained a beautiful soul, and we have gained a guardian angel. We love you always, Grandma Petrona. Rest well, peacefully, and thanks for everything you have done. Grandmother, I can remember when my son came here, he was small, and him clothes were dirty. And my granny said to him, boy, you have to go wash your clothes, you know. And Javar said, give me my clothes them. And my grandmother said that's the best clothes him ever see one little boy watch. And that was Javar. So sleep on, my grandmother, and I wish you well. After all of us have talked, I've asked a member of the congregation to sing a song for us, for our grandmother and family. Thank you.
Praise God.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before my grandmother died, she asked me to do a song. Rock of Ages, cleft for me. My grandmother was very caring and kind. I don't have words to explain for my grandma. I think my grandmother was one of the best grandmother in the world. So I'm going to ask the audience to help me sing Rock of Ages. Start again.
Rock of Ages, clear for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded let side peace flow. Be of sin the double scale. Save from wrath and make me pure. Could my tears forever flow? Could my reed no longer grow? These from sin could not stone. Thou must save, and thou alone. In my hand no price I bring, simply to thy throne I cling. Rock of ages, clear for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Praise God. Praise God. Like a ship sailing out on a trip so rough and long, so far from shore, I was so far from home. I sail out in search of a reason to go on, and there I found him in the eye of the storm. May be torn. Oh, I shall rest in the eye of the storm. When the wind and water rages and the billows begin to roll, the blessed Rock of Ages, speak peace to my soul. He holds me in his arms, so safe and so warm, and I found shelter in the eye of the storm. This ship of mine, the light of my
praise the Lord? Let's praise the Lord. Can we praise the Lord one more time? Let everything that had breath. Hallelujah. This time we'll be having a tribute from the Sunday school department, and the younger Sunday school students will be reading this tribute. So I'm going to invite them to come and stand beside me. Brother Josh, Brother Sashawn, and Hannah.
Tribute of the faithful journey of missionary Morris. Many daughters have done virtuously, yea, they have wrought righteously and shown forth grace. But thou too hast done thy best, for thy virtues are many, and thy heart is steadfast in the fear of the Lord. Calvary Temple deeply missed this stalwart woman of faith, yet the precious memories she leaves behind will forever remain in our hearts. We take comfort in the blessed hope that we shall meet again, for in her lifetime she will faithfully lay up treasures in heaven. And how great must those treasures be, for her days were spent in self-love and kind deeds. A life of spiritual discipline. Fasting is a regular part of her spiritual life. Most Sundays, she committed herself to fasting, deepening her connection with God. A legacy of love and service. Her life was a testament to selflessness, faith, and unwavering commitment to both God and the community. She will be remembered with deep love and gratitude.
She was a pillar of strength and support to the pastor, especially during his early days in the community. Her knowledge of the local families and her welcoming spirit helped bridge connections within the congregation and beyond.
She was always punctual for Sunday school. Her Sundays began with an early morning prayer, followed by dedicated efforts to prepare the church for worship, dusting benches, sweeping the churchyard, and ensuring everything was in order. After her morning service to the church, she would return home to get dressed and still arrive early for Sunday school.
A generous spirit. She had a heart for giving. Her generosity was well known, and she was repeatedly recognized by winning the Sunday school prize for the most offering.
Compassionate community care. Her service extended beyond the church walls. She made regular visits to the sick and shut-in members of the community, offering her time and energy to wash, cook, and deliver meals. Her kindness touched not just members of the church, but anyone in need within the community.
Today, we do not grieve Today, we do not grieve as those without hope, but rejoice with all of heaven. For precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. We are deeply grateful for the time we had with you. Though you have gone ahead of us, we hold on to the promise that one day we will meet again in the sweet by and by.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we just lift our hands and bless the Lord? Bless God, bless God. Now we are moving on to our open tributes. We'll be taking 2, and each person will be given a maximum of 2 minutes. So your name may not have been on the program, but you have something to say. Now is your time to say.
Let's praise the Lord, everyone.
Bless God.
Praise God. Sister Morris is my grand-aunt, my grandmother's sister. And, you know, I have come to know her as a humble lady. She was a kind and loving person. You know, on a Saturday, we will go down to our house, and as Melissa said, we will always go and, you know, pick mango and stuff like that. But her interest is always in, you know, encouraging us to give our life to God. And, you know, I can remember not really the last time that we spoke, but, you know, the time when I get led to come to church, you know, to start to serve God. She come to me one day and she said, Chris, I am really getting old, and there is not much of us from this family serving God, and I want you to come, you know, to serve God, because I see that there is something in you that I don't want you to waste your time. Because, you know, she was an auntie that really loves me, and I really feel in myself that she even loved me as close to her grandchild and others. Praise God, because the way how she treated me, she was so special. I was so special to her. Sometimes I laugh with her. I always spend a lot of time talking with her, and she said to me one day that, you know, she want me to serve God. And I promised her that I will give my life to God. And, you know, I stand here today to, you know, give thanks that she said to me that, Chris, I don't want to die not seeing you serving God. And, you know, it is a testimony to me today to know that she did not pass, and, you know, she get the chance to see me, you know, started on the journey. You know, and I give God thanks for that encouraging word, because she was such a loving soul to me. I really love her, and I really gonna miss her, because she always, you know, I always go down there and talk to her. I always, you know, she was always encouraging me, because I always been that close person to her. You can ask anyone of the grandchild and anyone else that know her with me. She always keep me in her heart as a special person. You know, and I really love her, and I really gonna miss her, because, you know, she promised me, and I promised her that, you know, I want to serve God before she pass on, and she get the opportunity to see it. And I give God thanks today that, you know, I did not fail her. Praise God. Praise God. That's my few words.
One more. Thank you very much, Brother Walford.
Shall we worship the Lord? Well, I'm Yannick Henry, co-worker. We have a good friendship at work. I'm going to sing this song. When I'm low in the spirit, I cry, Lord, leave me up, for I want to go higher indeed. For the Lord knows I can't stay on the mountain. So we picked out a valley for me. Jesus leads me beside still water. Somewhere in the valley below, and he drew me aside to be tested and tried. In the valley, he my soul. As dawn at the tundra, where the sun set to shine, and I question, Lord, why must this be? And he told me there is joy in my sorrow. Day of victory in his triumph for me. Oh, Jesus lead me beside still water. Somewhere in the valley below, and he drew me aside to be tested and tried. In the valley he restored my soul, but in the valley he restored my soul.
In the valley, he restored my soul. Ushers, please come up this time as we prepare to do the offertory hymn. I want to, as you can see, we're in the process of, finishing up this building. We have the ceiling that we are targeting next, and we want you to give liberally, to give generously. It's for a word of the cause, the expansion of the kingdom. Should you come another time, we'd want you to be a lot more comfortable. So I want you to give generously. Let us pray. Father Jesus, we thank you for your goodness. We thank you for your mercies. Thank you for your awesome provision. Thank you for being our God. Thank you for being our Savior. Thank you for being our keeper. Father Jesus, I pray this afternoon as we stretch forth our hands to give to your cause, mighty God, that you'll bless everyone who has to give. Father, Lord Jesus Christ, those who do not have at this time, I pray you'll bless them also in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, so we'll be singing the offertory hymn, He Lives. We'll stand. You'll be able to sit at this time, but we'll stand at the singing of the last verse, the fifth stanza.
The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me down to lie. In pastures green he leadeth me, the quiet waters by. He lives, he lives, he lives. I know that my Redeemer, yes, he lives. He lives within my heart. My soul he doth restore again, and me to walk amain within the paths of righteousness, even his own name's sake. Oh, he lives, he lives, he lives. I know that my Redeemer, yes, he lives. He
heart will I fear no ill, for thou art with me, and thy rod and staff my comfort still. Oh, he lives, he lives, he lives. I know that my Redeemer, yes, he lives, he lives, he lives within my heart. My table thou hast furnished in presence of my foes. My head thou dost with oil anoint, and my cup overflow. Oh, he lives, he lives, he lives. I know that my Redeemer, yes, he lives. Oh, he lives within my heart. Oh, goodness and mercy all my life shall surely follow me, and in God's house forevermore my dwelling place shall be. Oh, he lives, he lives.
Everyone, please
He
stand.
lives.
Please stand,
I
everyone.
know that my
Redeemer, yes,
he lives. Oh, he lives within my heart. He lives, he lives, he lives. I know that my Redeemer, yes, he lives. Oh, he lives within my heart. He lives within my heart.
Can we just lift our hands and praise the Lord? Hallelujah. At this time, we're going to be hearing from the grandson, Brother Nicholas Henry, who will be doing the eulogy. You may be seated.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise God. Proverbs 31. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. She riseth while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor and needy. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Today I stand here as the grandchild of the late Missionary Morris, Mama, Miss Body, Miss Pet. And I also stand here to represent my father, Neil, who would have loved to be here to read this eulogy, but is unable to do so due to his illness. So I'm reading on his behalf. It will be read from his perspective. Today the duty falls to me to tell what I know of my mother, our dearly departed. My heart is heavy with sorrow, but I take comfort in the promise that we don't sorrow as unbelievers, as while we grieve, we have the lively hope of the resurrection and being caught up to meet with our Savior and King. Let me hasten to tell you of our dearly departed Sister Petrona, who was born on August 23, 1937, to Myrtle Black and Alonzo Lynch in the small community of Dumbarton. She was known by the church as Missionary Morris, and to the community as Miss Body, Miss Pet, Sister Pet. To her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, she was Mama. I have the awesome privilege of calling her mother. She easily rates as one of the best mothers ever. Her life during her early years was quiet and uneventful. School during that time meant the daily 3-mile trek from Dumbarton to Discovery Bay, as we did not have a school in Dumbarton. The elementary school was housed in the United Church. The road to and from school was long and tiresome, but was never alone, as she and her older brother, Alan, and her younger sister, Yvonne, were company on the way to school. The distance, however, did not prevent them from attending school regularly and scoring good grades. Like most students, during that time in Jamaica, Petrona and her siblings did not advance to the secondary school level. But she was an avid reader and was able to communicate very well in writing. She continued, however, to develop into a beautiful young lady and was always put together. Not making it to secondary school meant that young body was home full-time with the rest of the large Myrtle Black family. Miss Myrtle, the matriarch of the family, was a shopkeeper and higgler while protecting her clan. Even with the hawkish protection of her family, young body had 3 children in her early years without fatherly support. Those children are Beverly, Milton, Neil. Initially, her life did not change too drastically, as she had the love and support of her family, and she was able to find work without having to worry too much about the adult responsibilities that she had suddenly taken on. The settled family life that Buddy was used to would soon change, however, as her older sisters had married and migrated to England within a short time, and almost immediately they requested that her mother, Miss Myrtle Black, head of the family, should join them in England. So Grandma Myrtle and most of her cousins loaded onto Mr. Swaby's bus and headed for the Victoria Pier in Kingston. Empire Windrush had arrived and blown her family apart. Buddy suddenly had to grow up quickly and take on the full adult responsibilities. This tested her resilience, but young Buddy strengthened her resolve to commit to her young family, and she assumed the role of provider and protector of the clan. There was an initial period of crying and sadness, but she soon sprung into action. She now assumed a lion-hearted attitude, deciding that she would have to step forward to guide and protect her young family. With her industriousness and friendly personality, she was able to find work in one of the notable restaurants in Brownstown, and later she worked as a domestic for a well-established family in Discovery Bay. She kept these jobs for many years and was able to keep and provide for herself and her family. As time grew on, Buddy added to her family, and the number of children increased from 3 to 6. This was Barbara, Sharon, and Carol. It is still a marvel how she was able to find the time to pour so generously into her children, cooking, cleaning, washing, combing, and plaiting hair, and helping us with homework on the weekends while making time for work. As children, we did not realize the extent of her efforts, but we were always clean, smart-looking, going out to school and church. We all entered school as fluent readers, thanks to Mama. She was a mother who would often forego her needs to see that her children were cared for. As children, we knew to behave ourselves, and on the weekend it was important to complete our chores. We all had designated tasks: sweeping the yard, getting wood in the kitchen, filling the water drums, and keeping the house clean and tidy. When we were older, Mama taught us to cook. All these duties were to be accomplished before she returned from the Saturday market in Brownstown. And when she returned, if any of these duties were not done, someone would have to move very quickly or do some dandy-shandy, as her hand was very straight. We could not joke with her. She worked in Brownstown up until the time of the start of the construction of the Hopewell Park housing scheme, when she built her stall selling food and drinks to the workmen. But it was certainly not going to allow anything that looked like an opportunity to pass her, and she was among the first in this project. Demonstrating determination, Buddy worked on this project until she gained employment with one of the earliest families settled in the scheme. She was one that was not going to give up, regardless of the difficulties. But seeing her stepping out in the cold, dark, early mornings and returning late at night made one feel sorry for her. Mama worked unceasingly for many years, including in Brownstown Market. With the passage of time and a loss of vitality, she withdrew from the outside work and became focused on helping to raise her grandchildren. This she did with great pride and joy. Mama's home was a safe haven for all. She was always ready with a hot meal that she could share, and boy, she could cook. With so many children around, she knew how to turn her hand, make fashion. It seemed that her favorite meal was curry chicken and white rice, because most times this is what the children reported that they got for dinner. But whether it was curry chicken, stewed pork, or rundown with fried dumpling, she had them coming back for more. Mama's house was always filled with grandchildren, so the children were never lonely as they enjoyed each other's company and that of their cousins. She would read to them, bathe them, and do whatever it was necessary to keep them clean and comfortable until pick-up time. Some of her grandchildren lived with her for extended periods. My children report that Mama taught them their first prayers. She taught them to read the Bible and to study and recite the golden text. She would sing with them, and she taught them many nursery rhymes and songs. From what have been said so far, it would appear that Buddy's life was only about her children and work. But I am happy to report that there's another aspect of Missionary Morris's life. She found the church. Incidentally, one of her favorite songs was, "I am so glad I found salvation in time." She was in fact an extraordinary woman of God. She was one of the earliest converts to the Pentecostal mission in Dumbarton, gaining her membership when the church was still under the tent on the playfield. Today, I invite you all to celebrate and rejoice with us as we reflect on the life of love, commitment, and devotion to her Christian walk. Indeed, Missionary Morris was an outstanding leader in her family, church, and community. And she, even though she was not a great platform speaker, her life spoke eloquently of faithfulness, patience, and love, and of course, self-control. She was eager in making any contribution in advancing the mission of the church through regular punctual church attendance at prayer meetings, visiting and ministering to the sick and shut-ins, and giving herself freely. In my estimation, she served the Lord with gladness. Among her many favorite songs was one, "Lord, don't let me leave behind an unfinished task," which she personally requested a few years ago that this be done at her funeral. Missionary Morris lived up to this mantra. Now, as we reflect on the life of Missionary Morris, let us rejoice with the host of heaven that has welcomed her into her rest. For the immediate family especially, I urge us that we take her life and love and charity as a legacy that we should all partake of. Mama made her transition on March 6, 2025, and leaves to mourn 6 children: Beverly, Neil, Milton, Barbara, Sharon, and Carol. A host of grandchildren, as you saw, numerous great-grandchildren, 3 sisters, 2 brothers, and a host of other relatives and church community and friends. Without a doubt, I must make mention of Debian, one of her favorite grandchildren who took care of her in the last half of her illness. I must pause, and we must all pause and say thank you to Debian. Can we give a round of applause to Debian? Missionary Morris ran well. She finished her course, and she lived up to her mantra, "Lord, don't let me leave behind an unfinished task." I am sure she is resting in peace, and may her light shine perpetually on her. God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Henry. Well said. Indeed, missionary ran well. At this time, we'll be hearing from the Calvary Temple Choir, and they will be doing one of missionaries' favorite songs. Calvary Temple.
I carried the gospel to the lost, near and far. I would stand empty and dead at God's judgment bar, but I dare not relax until I finish all I've got. Lest I don't leave behind an unfinished task. You have run the race. You have kept the faith. These are the words I want to hear my Savior say. And when my life on earth is past, there's just one thing, dear Lord, I ask. Don't let me leave behind an unfinished.
If I have robbed my brother, if I have wounded a friend, Lord, give me courage to see that and to make amends when I come to leave this world. I'll reach glory at last. Then I won't leave behind an unfinished task. When I come to the crossing, I leave my burdens all behind. what will make my heart glad is just to leave all I have. Then I won't leave behind an unfinished task. Say when I come to the crossing, I leave my burdens all behind. All my earthly possession, these things I won't mind. For what will make my heart glad is just to leave all I have. And I won't leave behind an unfinished task.
These are the words I want to hear my Savior say. And when my life on earth is past, there's just one thing, dear Lord, I ask. Don't let me be behind, oh Lord. For you have won the further race. You have paid the price. These are the words I want to hear my Savior say. And when my life on earth is past, there's just one thing, dear Lord, I ask. Don't let me leave behind, oh Lord. Don't let my life on earth is past. There's just one thing, dear Lord, I ask. Don't let me leave behind, oh Lord. Don't let me leave. Don't let me Don't let me leave
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Don't let me leave behind an unfinished task. Hallelujah. Thank you, Calvary Temple Choir. When my life on earth is past, there's just one thing. Missionary was concerned about this one thing, and it should be the concern of all of us. This one thing, because we will all pass one day, but we all need to have this one concern. Don't let me leave behind an unfinished task. And so we rejoice today because our sister ran well and she finished the course. At this time, I invite us all to stand. Everybody in the audience, please stand. You have been a great audience, and now it's time for the word. And we urge you to stay with us for the duration of the program. At this time, it's my pleasure to present to you and to introduce to you, for those persons who might not know, our pastor, Pastor Lloyd Germain. He's also the pastor of the late Missionary Morris. Put your hands together as we welcome and I present to you the shepherd of the house, Pastor Germain.
Praise God. Thank you, Minister Elvin. Could we just lift our hands in the presence of the Lord? Those who are sitting, could you stand with us? Celebrate the life of this godly woman, a woman that have run faithfully. Don't let me leave behind a hand-finished task. Praise God. Sister Maris has run well. She ran an excellent leg. She has passed on the baton to many of us in this congregation. She has left a legacy, a Calvary Temple. Sister Maris was such a wonderful and dedicated woman of God. Somebody who I admire for her strength, her dedication, her confidence in the things of God. And I am here today standing. There's never a time that we want to miss or to lose one of our saints. And today we are here. I just want to let you know that in that box, Sister Maris is already transported into heaven. All is in that box is just the remains of her body. But she's already transported into heaven. While you remain standing, I'm going to read to you from the book of Philippians chapter 1. I'm going to read 3 verses, 21, 22, and 23. I'll read. For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is to gain. If I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor. Yet, what I shall choose, I would not. For I am in a street betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ is more needful. Today, we stand in this funeral service. It said to be with Christ, which is more better. Today, we stand in this funeral service of a woman that have ran a great leg. Let's bow our heads. Oh God, our Father, the great I am, the everlasting God, the one that fainteth not, neither is there any searching of her understanding. Lord, we thank you for this portion. We thank you for what I've said and what I've done. I pray right now, Lord, the hearts will be open. I pray, God, that there will be a conviction to your words. Bless the service, Lord. We shut down everything that is not of you. Let your words have free course. Father, in the name of Jesus, we place the rest of this service into your hands. In Jesus' name, you may be seated, everybody. Today, as we said before, Sister Maris, she was a model of strength and support to the kingdom of God. I knew her over the last 30 years. 30 years, and she displayed nothing but a Christ-like attitude. Just get here, Sister Maris was here when I came here. Praise God, 30 years ago, she was here. And one of the things that I admire about her, she was ensured that those who lives under her roof was coming to church. She made sure that Cassan and Candice, before she migrated, she made sure that they were in Sunday school every Sunday. And so I know Candice and Cassan for many years. May God, I'm not going to say anything about Cassan now, but she was not an easy Sunday school student. She was not easy to manage. But I'm so happy to see her today as she break down for her grandma. And she has grown. And she's not the same Cassan that used to come to Sunday school. She's now a mature married woman. And we thank God for her. I want my condolences to the bereaved family on behalf of my wife and my son. And the church here at Calvary Temple, we want to let you know that we are standing with you in prayer. We stand with you in the time of turbulence. We're standing with you in the time of crisis and trials and troubles. And I want to let you know, don't mourn, don't cry for Missionary Maris. Because this woman has surely pleased God. Praise the Lord. She pleases God. As we listen to the tributes that was read from the church, different departments, she was very supportive of the church. She was like my mom. She supported me in the ministry when I came here. She embraced me with her love, her prayers, her devotion, her commitment to the things of God. Sister Maris was a model of strength. She ran very goodly. I remember when she was sick some time ago, I went to see her in the hospital. And they told me she's not responding. She's not responding. Walking to the ward, and she was like the first bed as you enter through the door. And as she saw me, wasn't talking, but she smiled. A big smile on her face, and it says it all. That she was happy and excited to see me. I felt so good to talk about her today in this manner. The fact that she stood up for righteousness, even in the face of the adversaries. She stood up for righteousness. At the beginning of my early years here, it was turbulence. It was not easy coming into a new community. But then Sister Maris stood beside me. She encouraged me as her son. She told me, Pastor, I stand with you. She was all for careful. And I have never had to discipline her or even speak to her about anything. She was very much a woman of God. She know the rule. She abide by the rule. And she live her life. She walk the walk. And she talk the talk. Praise the Lord. I want to preach to you today from the book of Philippians in a few minutes. We read a while ago from the Bible, the Word of God. I read Paul writing to the Philippians. We look at the life of Paul. Paul's prescription of life. And the responsibility of each of us is to maximize life. It is fullest, with our fullest potential. He expressed in his final letter to Timothy and to his favorite young student, Paul wrote, said, "For I have already been poured out like a drink offering at the time of my departure. I have fought a good fight." Paul said, "I have finished my course and I have kept the faith." Paul likened his life to a commercial ceremonial drink offering. Administered, poured it out. He poured it out, praise God, in the ceremonial cup for the priests in the Old Testament and rituals. We look at the life of Paul, in which the priest, the Bible said, fill the cup with wine and pour it out. And Paul gave a very effective illustration of how our life should live. Sister Maris poured out. She absorbed and she poured out. She was not only poured out in those around her, but she poured out to everyone she met. She was a true missionary of God. She poured out to everyone that she come in contact with. Like Paul, she gave a very effective illustration. Life should be. So her life is like a cup of drink served to the world by a great creator. The drink is awesome, on top, valuable, destiny filled, treasure, gift, and talent of potential was buried within her. Every minute, every day, every month, and here was an interval of opportunity for Sister Maris. She took the opportunity, and not only that, but she praised God as she poured out in others. She poured out until there was nothing left. Sister Maris died empty, and I use the word that she dies empty because she died giving everything. So when she died, there was not much left because she gave everything. She gave her talent, she gave her time, praise God, and she gives her gift. Paul make one of his most important statements of all his writing. Paul, lack of fear, like Sister Maris, lack of fear regarding death and how it affects the outcome of his ministry. So for me to live is Christ, and to die is to gain. Sister Maris, many of us would understand. But not until you are effectively serving God, you'll never understand, like many of us, that we're clapping and we are jumping because we have a lively hope. Sister Maris died with hope. She died empty because she emptied herself and poured out in the lives of others. And so for like Paul, she said, for me to live is Christ and to die is to gain. So when she was alive, it was Christ. Now that she died, she's gaining. I come to tell to somebody that Sister Maris does not lost anything. In fact, she has gained all because she has served God effectively. She gives her all in the time when she was alive. She makes sure that her calling and her election was sure. Like many of us, She have hope, and a hope that she cherished not in vain. She had a hope that one of this day, hallelujah, that this body, though it weak and though it going down, but she have a hope that she is going to see Jesus like he is. Somebody lift your hands and give God thanks. For the Apostle Paul to live was Christ, meaning the entire life was dedicated to a hand, centered around Jesus Christ. And to gain signified that death would not be, that death would have been a positive experience. It would allow him to fulfill his present with Christ. Sister Maris is now with Christ. 5 minutes before the undertaker came to take the body of missionary Maris, she was already transported into heaven. This planet was not Earth anymore. She passed through the different galaxies. As a matter of fact, she did not go alone, but God would have sent angels to escort her like a mighty army. Sister Maris was escorted into heaven. Angel escort her body into paradise, waiting. She's now in paradise, resting, waiting for the redemption of her soul. I come to preach to you that Sister Maris shall live again. Touch your neighbor, tell them, if you serve God, you shall live again. Sister Maris shall live again, because there's gonna be a resurrection. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's gonna be a resurrection. Praise the Lord, everybody. And so at this time, she's comforted in paradise, waiting for the redemption of her soul. She's waiting to take on a body that she has never experienced before. She's now in paradise, resting from all her labor, her sickness. Everything that she had been through is over. Problem at home is over. Sickness in the hospital is over. Doctor's appointment is over. She is resting in paradise, waiting for the redemption of her soul. And I come to tell you that there's gonna be a resurrection. Church of God, Dunbar, Liberty Hill, there's gonna be a resurrection. Sister Maris shall risen from the grave. She shall risen again. Somebody lift your hands and give God a glory. And so, for Sister Maris to live is Christ. Signified that Paul's whole life were devoted in serving God and following God. Jesus has this relationship with Christ. Paul prioritized his relationship with Christ above all else. To die is to gain. Paul saw death as a positive event because it would mean entering in a new life with Christ, which considered to be greater compared to earthly exercise. Sister Maris, Paul described in 23, described the struggle between wanted to go, unwanted. Paul said, I am between twixt two. Paul said, I have a desire to stay, and he have a desire to go. And he came to the conclusion that if he stay, it's okay. And if he go, it's still the same. because he understands that whatever way he take, he realized that serving God was beautiful. Sister Maris understood the narrative that if she followed Jesus, no matter what this world has to offer, there was a better life ahead. We don't mourn like others mourn, because death have no terror for the blood-bought one. Sister Maris run a race, praise God, and now she's waiting for the redemption of her soul, because now she carries a different body. But when the trump of God shall sound, Hakoshata, that body that she went downhill, she's going to come up with a new body, because when this corruption shall put on incorruption, when this mortal shall put on immortality, Sister Maris is waiting for her mortality. Can I preach to somebody? She's going to look at death one of this day, and she's going to say, oh death, where is your sting? Oh grave, where is your victory? She's going to sing the song, ain't no grave. Can I preach to somebody? My sister is going to sing, there is no grave that can hold this body down. I say to somebody, before you die, seek the Lord. She run a great race. Sister Maris was such a loving person. She smiles. You would never know that she had been through anything. She was early for church. She did not care about others. Some times ago, she said to me, I remember some years ago, she said, Pastor, I said, Sister Maris, oh, you move so fast when church over. I'm looking, she come early, but she didn't hang around. And you know the reason why she didn't hang around? She said, Pastor, I don't like mix up. She was about the business of the Lord. She did not use her mouth to tear down people. She used her mouth to lift up others. Not like some people who use their mouth to tear down others. Sister Maris used her mouth for the right reason. And that's why she would walk in with a praise. She walked in with joy in her heart. There was no sadness on her face. As a matter of fact, I don't know if she have ever been sad. There was a smile that she carries on her face, and the smile that she carries speak that there was always grace within her face. She was a woman of grace. She was a woman of class and quality. She had some integrity. Can I preach to somebody? She carried some class. There was a fragrance that Sister Maris gives off. That when she walked through these doors, hallelujah, she was a true woman of God. She left a legacy for some of our young people and our middle age. For the age of 70, of 87 is a long time. And I spent almost 30 years with her. And I've never had to speak to her one time about anything. I have some persons, sometimes you have to talk to them 5, 6 times before you can get them straight. Sister Maris never speak to her one time. She know who she was. She walked like a Christian. She talks like a Christian. When her husband died, she didn't worry about another man. She stayed her mind on God. She kept her mind on God. She was sold out to Jesus. Hallelujah. But I want to preach in closing to the family members. Let not your heart be troubled. Because Sister Marius believed in God. Praise the Lord. John said he believed in God. He also believed in me. Because in my Father's house, there are many mansions. John said, if it was not so, I would have told you. But Sister Marius has only gone before us. But there's a place that prepared for the child of God. Let me tell you, let not sin reign in your mortal body. Because a life without God is an empty life. A life without God is a filthy life. Somebody think you're living it up. But outside of God, there is no life at all. Hakoshata. Come on, somebody lift your hand. For we know, Sister Mary said, for we know that if this early house, this one, this house, Sister Mary said, for I know, for if this early house be dissolved, she was not worried, Brother Sidney. She knew that there was another house, a house that was not built with hand, but passed into the heavens. I come to preach to somebody. Someday your party will be over. Some people talk, oh, I'm just living it up. It's one life to live. I'm going to live it. I'm going to live it. You don't know life yet, because a life outside of God is not living. You're alive, but you're not living. The only life that counts is Jesus. Except he build your house, you labor in vain, my friend. Praise the Lord, everybody. Sister Maris said, for in this body, she was groaning. She felt some pain. She groaned earnestly. Not only, but she was desire to be with our Lord and to be clothed upon the house which is in heaven. Jesus said to Martha, Martha, dry your eyes and wipe your tears, because I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Hallelujah. Martha said, Jesus, don't worry, come. Our brother now stinketh. 4 days he's dead. But 4 days to Jesus is nothing. Said to Martha, Martha, all you've got to do is just roll away the stone. I come to close with some tell to somebody. Before you die, seek the Lord. Death is certain. Death is certain. Hallelujah. Death is sure. People are dying every day. And still there are some people who are living their life in a way that they feel like the world is at their feet. It's not how long you live. Because many of you have lived long, but you have not lived well. Sister Maris lived 87 years, but she lives well. Is there anybody here who have reached that threshold, who have reached that place, and you're still not living well? She lives well. She didn't drive a car like some of us today. If you come here on Sunday, you can't find a place to park. And Sister Maris didn't drive a car, but she was early at church. Today, those who drive cars are coming the latest at church. But Sister Maris did not drive a car, but she was early. There are some people who live close to the church than Sister Maris, and they're always late. But Sister Maris lived and she walked and everything was in sync with God. Let's stand. Before you die, seek the Lord. She ran, she poured out. She poured out. She did not allow the grave to take her talent. She did not allow the grave to take her gift. She did not allow the grave to take her talent, her gift. You know what she did? She poured it out. She gave out everything. So when she died empty because she gave it all. Somebody need to understand. Only what done for Christ will last. Only what done for Christ will last. As you remain standing, I'm going to ask you to stand, everybody. Those who are sitting, remember you have to go out. You have to stand to come out. So please stand from now. Praise the Lord. Praise God. Okay, you have to stand to get outside. So might as well you stand now. Praise God. We're going to invite Minister Dixon to come. And we're going to ask the family members, you can be seated. This time the family members can, all those who are family members, you may be seated. Those who are not family members, keep standing. Minister Dixon is going to pray for the bereaved family. Minister Dixon.
Hallelujah. Can we continue to bless the Lord? Hallelujah. Glory to God. That is a common thing to every man, whether you want to be rich, poor, or saints, and so it behooves all of us to be ready for it. Hallelujah. I want to pray for the bereaved family. Hallelujah. Our great King, our Father, our Lord and Master, we give all reverence, we give all glory and honor to your holy, your sovereign, and your majestic name. Your word declared that the Lord give it and the Lord take it. Blessed is be the name of the Lord. Father, as we come and celebrate, oh God, Lord, the life, the legacy, oh God, of Sister Morris, oh praise God, hallelujah. Glory to God in the highest. And as we mourn, oh God, her death, not mourn as others do, that has no hope, Lord, for we know, God, that she had settled that whole account. Father, I pray for the family, the bereaved family, that, Lord, you will strengthen, you will give them the comfort, the assurance, Lord, that, God, you are still on the throne and that you are still in control, that you are seeking, hallelujah, hallelujah, the lost, hallelujah. You are seeking to save the lost. I pray, God, Lord, that you will comfort this family. Let them know, God, Lord, that death is not the end, hallelujah. It's just a transition, oh, glory to God, and that they too, hallelujah, will make their calling and election sure. I pray, God, that you will give them that comfort that they need, open their eyes to the reality, hallelujah, that one of these days, mighty God, just like Missionary Morris lying there, oh God, they will be there too. Oh, glory to God. And that they will have to give an answer to the things, oh God, that they have done in their body. Father, I pray, oh God, Lord, that they will make haste, hallelujah. They will make their calling and election sure, hallelujah, knowing, oh God, Lord, that you're coming back again and that you're going to reward every man according to their work shall be. Oh God, comfort, support, hallelujah, because you're the God of comfort. We're dependent on you. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. We give you all the praise, hallelujah. In your mighty, your holy, and your sovereign name we pray. Amen and amen. Thank you, Jesus.
Praise God. You may stand, everyone, as we give you instruction. Praise God. As we're going to close, we want to give you some instruction. You may stand, everyone. The minister will go. We're going to sing the song, It Is Well With My Soul. The minister will go in front, the casket behind, and the family members, we're going to ask you to remain in your seat, and let's go in order. Praise God. And as we journey to the family plot on the hill. We're going to ask you, brethren, remember, it is indeed a hill and not such not the best road. Praise God. And so we're going to ask you to allow the pastor and the earth to be in front and everything else going up the hill together. So we're going to sing, Is It Well With My Soul? When peace like a river